What's going on, everybody? This your boy King Gabe here, and got another bit of an update with the Yumeko series. Kind of getting a little ahead of the game there because, well, know how it is with writers and illustrators and all that. Especially if any of y'all listening are writers yourselves, you um, probably can relate to the whole thing of sometime how you're trying to, you're still trying to write one story and you got ideas for another story coming up there, so in your head. Yeah, kind of like my one thing. One of my friends at work was like, "Well, you get your notebook and write all that down." Yeah, or in this case, write it, jot it down on your phone, because I'm trying to haul a notebook around, which everywhere may not always be very easy to do. Even a little mini notebook, yeah, especially if you're on the job there, yeah. There's imagine idea come to you while you're in the middle of your work shift, like, oh, hold up, let me excuse me, will you get back to work? So, yeah, not quite so convenient there. So, I'm going to be mentioning here in this video, going to be mentioning some of the things that have come to my, some of the things, which is quite a bit, but yeah, it's probably going to even be more than that as time goes on. So this will be a first update of what we have to come as far as stories in the Yumeko novel series, and now as far as how they will come, I kind of got an ideal. I kind of have an ideal, somewhat of like maybe like what will be in what book and what will be in the other, like as far as somewhat of an order, but be advised. It is what I say here in this video can possibly change over time. Like I say, all depends on like after the actual completion from book to book. How that because sometimes things do change, even with like movies and stuff like that. Sometimes we be getting all these rumors and speculations and stuff about movies, and sometimes even I guess you could say the creators of the movies themselves probably be thinking of a certain way they're gonna write a particular movie at some point, and then all of a sudden it changes. Several examples of that, but yeah, so yeah, it also can happen with just plain old story writing with novels here. So let's get right down to what has come to mind for now. For now. So anyway, so as you know, the first Yumeko novel I'm working on right now is your basic rescue mission story. You get introduced, I did add not a whole lot, but I added a little bit more to it yesterday while I was in the library. Where they're at the celebration for the new mayor of Barnhart City. Basic little rescue mission. Let's just say that Penubian ends up having a little deal with some people from Uranus to kidnap the mayor's youngest daughter, of course, for a hostage situation, ransom, because he wanted to be mayor himself. Yeah, that happened, but as they say, these are some pretty. Some of these villains are pretty messed up, So, so yeah, they Brownie and his friends, along with Hiko, and go to rescue Anna's little baby sister. Pretty much reference to Brownie in Space, the story I mentioned when I was talking about Brownie that I submitted into a writing contest and didn't make it. But it's gonna make it. It's gonna make it here for the series with a little more detail. So There's going to be that. In what little bit I did add in book one, I did bring Mr. Fluffles, which is actually a teddy bear that belongs to my sister Casey. That's why he wasn't in the picture with Brownie and his friends, because, like I say, he's actually owned by Casey. And if you check the channel, there is a short with a video. There's a couple of videos featuring Casey, and one, of course, where she's saying, you are loved, and saying, close up, and just pretty much you are loved, and also a one where she's where you actually get to see Mr. Fluffles and her doing, a little voice for Mr. Fluffles, like, I really like to meet him one day. Yeah, I'm talking about meeting Brownie. So the idea for Mr. Fluffles, his full name is going to be Frederick Campbell Fluffington. Frederick Fluffleton Campbell. Yeah, and also just to make known, yes, a lot the things being discussed here have been also mentioned to Casey. She has given her approval on what's being done with Mr. Fluffles for the series. Matter of fact, she is very supportive of the series in general, as far as being how we've grown up doing role plays together and stuff like that. So yeah, so she's definitely very aware of what's going on here, and like I say, any input that she has, she will definitely make that known. As far as for characters that come from her, like Mr. Fluffles, as well as other characters that are in the series from her as well. I'll mention them in a second there. So the idea with Mr. Fluffles is to make him a martial arts sensei. Oh yeah, so that's in the not Brown Chronicles, but Yumeko comic books. The first two issues I made of that before Photoshop shut down. I was planning to bring Mr. Fluffles into the third comic book. I had it wrote out and everything, but I never did get to illustrate it. But what was going to happen? He was pretty much just going to be another friend of Brownie's. Yeah, pretty much, around same age and be like, buddy buddies and both have battle suits and stuff like that. That was pretty much it. But this idea here for this novel series is going to be a little bit more interesting and kind of give Mr. Fluffles more of a individual character that's still going to be amongst Brownie and his other friends, but sort of stand out amongst them, sort of. So being a sensei, he's going to be like 70 years old, but still able to sort of like them old karate masters you see like in Karate Kid and like Jackie Chan and all that there. Yep. So he's still gonna be able to kick it, or even Splinter from the Ninja Turtles. Yep. Stand before me, my sons. So he's he's a martial arts sensei. He actually speaks at the very beginning of the first chapter, congratulating the mayor of Barnhart, saying how great of an honor it is. That's pretty much the most you hear about him at the beginning of the book. And then like the rest of it is, Brownie and his friends rescuing Anna's sister. And then at the end of it, the end of the book, Mr. Fluffles, or Sensei Fluffles, another way of looking at it there, he ends up having, when he's meditating, at the end of the book, he ends up getting a vision of some people coming to Yumeko, and that they are greatly troubled. This will lead immediately into the second book, which will introduce more which will introduce even more of Casey's characters that she's submitted to the that she's actually allowed to be in Yumeko series, which would be of course. Any of y'all know some of my previous videos, or even from my old channels, in the comic series, yeah, you got Julie and her twin brother Tim. So, yep, Julie and Tim as twins in this series, of course, and yep, they're and also a friend of theirs named Melina. There's going to be something kind of special with Melina there, but now you might be figuring it out now just from me saying that, but that's all I'm going to verbally say. But anyway, the three of them, all from Casey as well, and they're going to be the same age as Hiko is, which is 7. Yeah, a lot because, like I say, 1995. What happens with them? Julie and Tim, they it's explained that Julie and Tim came, to see their parents at work, which is Yukoshi Corporation, where they manufacture toys. It's a corporation over in Japan, by Kyoto, Japan. And Melina just so happened to be there with them, hanging out and stuff. Like, came over with them. And while they were there that day, the corporation was under attack by a ninja clan known as the Kappa clan. This was actually an ideal way back from Heroes of Dreams, the Kappa clan. Any of y'all don't know what Kappas are, as Splinter say once, ancient Japanese demon. Some were good and some were very bad. Of course, fiction, but in actuality, yeah, you don't really have any good demons, but of course, in fictions and anime, yeah, you know that, yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of the whole good demons, yeah, I actually read a book, and this was in my elementary school, called Dragon Wing, and it had quote-unquote good and bad demons just walking around casually with the humans, yeah. So that was in my elementary school library, by the way. Go figure. And I actually did read it for an AR test, though. Anyway, getting back to the subject. So yeah, this ninja clan, this Kappa clan of the ninjas from it, they attacked the Yukoshi Corporation. And also another thing to explain about Kappa demons. Kappa demons, they actually look a lot like turtles. They look, but matter of fact, they have the shell of a turtle, and they have like fish-like features in their bodies. And there's something else they have. Something else. Let me bring it up real quick there. No, I did not want to look at that. Kappa. Here we go. Okay, so here's what I brought up about the Kappa. The Kappas, they are aquatic, reptilian humanoid-like creatures. Matter of fact, yeah, they usually, and even just looking at this picture, yeah, they do have shells, sort of like armor on them, kind of similar to turtle shells. Yeah, so. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, turtle-like carapace, I guess I can't really pronounce the word, but yeah, turtle-like shells on their back. Webbed hands and feet. And they're sort of like green human beings with these features there. So yeah, just imagine if I were green and had a turtle shell and webbed feet and hands. Yeah, that would be kind of the description. And a depression on his head, which is called his dish that retains water. They have so on the head they have like it's sort of almost looks like a bowl, like a built-in bowl sort of, and they have water in there. But if that water is retains but if it's damaged or the liquid is lost in there, either from spilling or drying up, they're severely weakened there. Um, yeah, so they're severely weakened if that ever happens. And one reason why I heard from somewhere they say make them bow. So yeah, that's what it'd be the Kappa clan that would attack the Yukashi Corp. Now, as far as who they're working for, um, and why they attack the corporation, yeah, I still got that in the works as far as the little details of that, because obviously there's got to be a reason why they're doing this, and also pretty much a grandmaster. So yeah, there might be I'm thinking, like I said, when I actually get to the book, I'll know completely for sure. But one thing that's kind of coming to my mind even right now as I'm recording this is maybe there might possibly be because there's a mention about a thing called destiny items there, um, which kind of destiny items that might be a thing, and so I'm thinking. Excuse me. Thinking maybe there might, maybe Julie's parents might have found one of these items, yeah, or maybe they found one of these items recently, or maybe even Julie and Tim might have possibly found one there. Never know. So anyway, like I say, when the corporation is attacked. Julie, of course, very upset about this because the attack leads to the death of Julie and Tim's parents. And yeah, you probably can guess where that probably will go. Of course, Julie, they're all in pretty big shock about this. Julie really takes this, what happens to Julie. This, when she, when she had an emotional outburst over this, that's when the first time her psychic powers activate, which end up causing the corporation building to practically blow up there. So yeah, kind of not her intention to do that, but yeah, like I say, oh my God, my mom and dad. So yeah, that ends up happening. Julie, Tim, and Melina are actually in that, but it also causes them to be sent into Yumeko, possibly due to her powers, because Sensei Fluffles mentioned about the arrival of some people arriving with great trouble, and this is what he's talking about. He's talking about the arrival of Julie, Tim, and Melina. And the trouble, of course, being the Kappa clan. So they're in Yumeko. They're still pretty upset about what's happened, and then also confused about where in the world they are. And then they're actually not going to be in Barnhart City for this story. They're actually going to be in a neighboring town known as Elmer City. Kind of out in the fields of Elmer City, and I think, and it's also noted that Hiko would not be in this. They'll explain where he's at in another story during that particular time. But Brownie is there. Him and Mr. Fluffles, they go to meet up with Julie, Tim, and Melina, and of course, turns out. Explain the situation, and Julie's like, wait a minute, you're Mr. Fluffles. This is because, like I mentioned before, Mr. Fluffles being Casey's teddy bear. So Mr. Fluffles in the story once belonged to Julie. So yeah, that's so after meeting up, he actually teaches, excuse me, he actually trains Julie in swordsmanship, like as a samurai, and the purpose behind this is by her focusing how to wield her sword and everything like that. At the same time, she's also mastering focusing her psychic abilities, like just focus in general. Um, Tim is kind of on the sidelines at first and kind of wondering why he didn't have any powers or anything. And at the moment, Melina doesn't really have any powers. Like I said, she is a friend of theirs, but she doesn't. So at the moment, yeah. As far as I know, it is. Casey did mention that. Yeah, she kind of would just be a regular person, but if I were to come up with something like that, it's a possibility that she could have some kind of power. Of course, like I say, run it by Case first, if that comes to mind, and like, hey, what? So, what do you think of this? And yeah, and kind of go from there, depending on how she feels about it. And one thing, Mr. Fluffles tells Tim, you're still, just because you don't have, even if you don't have powers, you're still you're still, they can still be a big help to your sister. Melina, of course, wants to be a help as well. Tim actually does have power that awakens, but it's not the same as Julie, where she's moving stuff with her mind and all that. His case, he's able to. He has a healing ability, physically and also mentally. Yeah, like I don't know if you guys have ever seen cases like this in TV, in certain TV shows, like where people, not only people read your mind, but they read your soul. Like like maybe your spirit is broken, and they sort of heal your spirit, something like that. But yeah, pretty much like that. And excuse me. That one thing, like Casey mentioned in a mess when we were texting each other, and I think also when we was talking in person. He is really good with defending himself. He does, and he does. Him and Melina do train with Julie. They get some samurai training as well. How it just in a different way, because, like I say, Julie, more so because of the focusing of her psychic powers. And with all this, they are able to take on the Kappa clan. Kappa clan actually finds their way into Yumeko, come after them. Yep, and there's of course some details around that, but like I say, we'll work that out when we get to the book, when we get to the second book. So there's going to be that story. Next story I had in mind was well, let's just say kind of based on something that actually has occurred in my childhood, but also something that's occurring recently right now as I'm making this video. Back when I was like in elementary, I actually wrote a story about called Gargabe and the Ants. This was back when I was watching Garfield and Friends, and I imagined myself as Garfield's cousin Gargabe. Go figure. Or some people might hear that and think, well, why not Gabeville? Yeah, probably Gargabe sounds better, Just saying, yeah. But anyway, during that time, that's when I came up with the idea. It was called Gargabe and the Ants, which was similar to a Garfield episode where Garfield was dealing with a bunch of mice in the and at the same, and it was being introduced like a live, I guess like a documentary or like a documentary movie, where these two mice that were supposed to be imitating Isco and Serga were talking about it, like reviewers there. So so yeah, kind of based, yeah, there was that. So as for the story for which it might be the third book, might possibly be the third book, because of what's been going on now, which is, yeah, we've been getting ants in the house lately. Getting really sick of it. Of course, yeah, we'll be doing some things about it there. Kind of, especially like spraying around the house, stuff like that, and also some extra things to prevent them from coming in the house. A lot of it has to do. We're assuming it's because of the heat. From what I've looked up on Google search, they say something about when it gets really hot outside, and there's a lack. Because we hadn't had rain for a while. It's been weeks that we have not had any rain, and some people. I mean, well, some the according to what I looked up, it say that sometimes this causes ants to start trying to come in other places other than their natural habitat to try to find resources like food and cool air and stuff like that, and that's what leads to them coming in folks' houses like ours. So yeah, so yeah, that's been happening. So in the like I say, it might be the third book. So what I was thinking could happen, excuse me, is in this story, Hiko would be out of town in Houston, visiting some of his cousins. When I was actually in elementary, around that time, I think I was 7 then. May have, I want to say maybe I might have been 6, but I'm pretty sure I was 7 when this happened. My two of my actual cousins, along with my with their mom and dad, my which of course my uncle and aunt, the oldest uncle on my mama's side, who is a pastor. At that time, he was pastoring a church. He had got called to pastor at a church over in Houston, and that caused him, my aunt, my 2 cousins to move out there. And of course we didn't like we just went with them, to see them being settled into Houston. Well, also to see his first see like his first Sunday as a as the new pastor of this church. Just and it's a show your support. So well, we went out there. So this would actually be based off of that happening. Yeah, and one thing I imagine with my 2 cousins, those particular 2 cousins, is that in this story, they would be imagining themselves as cowboys. Hiko kind of joins in with them, of course, do like Wild Wild West adventures, stuff like that. Also, my big papa, my grandpa on my mom's side, I always imagine him as a cowboy as well, because because of a hat, this cowboy-like hat that he would wear to church sometime. I always nicknamed him Detective Goodharty. Yep, just a name that came to mind. So the 2 cousins would call themselves the Z Brothers, Zine and Zine, and they have some little West adventures and everything. And during their time in Houston, they now this is actually something also that I kind of did, that not kind of, but I did when I was a kid though. And I'm pretty sure a lot of kids have probably done this. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm pretty sure a lot of kids have probably just done this just to do it. Stomping or kicking ant beds, stuff like that, just for the heck of it. Now, of course, like I said, now with these invasions and stuff like that, I have to go out there and spray, where I see ant beds at or the cracks of the house, stuff like that, to get a hold. But there's a reason for doing that. I'm not just running out there like, stop on the ant bed. Yeah, I'm actually, just to defend the home. But yeah, as a kid, it was like, I guess that was the inspiration behind the movies like Ant Bully. Yeah, so yeah, they do that, so that, and then also kind of shows a little realism. Like it's not, oh, these ants are, which they kind of are in a perspective, but it's not just like, oh well, we're perfectly good. Halo. So, nah, yeah, like I say, we're not, as Superman say, we're not complete Boy Scouts. So, um, so yeah, they kicked over, different ambits, stuff like that. And what happens is they get a visit from some insect aliens, some alien insects, which are led by an alien ant colony. So the alien ants are sort of the lead ringers of the other alien insects there. And so they come and they invade down in Houston, and oh boy, this is where you get in this story. It would be Hiko and his cousin, and possibly their grandpa or Big Papa to them, as cowboys up against an alien insect invasion. Yeah, or I guess technically an alien pest invasion. Yeah, the reason I had to say pest because, like I say, not all insects cause trouble like this there, and yeah, like I say, and also I didn't want to appear as, oh my goodness, he's trying to, he's hating on all insects. No, especially to a certain TikToker I follow who is an insect lover. Nothing wrong with that. Insect as well as nature in general. As I say, that's cool. But I didn't want to come off as an insect hater. And yeah, a lot, and like I say, especially nowadays, a lot of it is not so much like I just hate all insects. I want to eliminate all of them. It's just the ones it's just the particular ones that invade our home. Because I'm like this, if they stay outside, we cool. Even the ants, they stay outside, we ain't got no problem. But they pretty much like the bees. Bees, they pretty much mind their own business, and they only attack when you start messing with them. So yeah, as long as you hey, you're not messing with the bees don't mess with you. You tell me what the bee's knees is. Had to throw that joke in there. So yeah, pretty much like that. And just to clarify, insects that I really do like, like I say, I'm okay with ants. Well, pretty much a lot of them, if they stay outside. Yeah, if they stay outside, yeah, I don't really have a problem with ants outside because, like I say, I like movies like Bugs Life and Ants. Also, dragonflies. I definitely love dragonflies. They are really cool. Dragonflies, beetles. Beetles are really cool. And yeah, somewhat spiders, as long as they're outside and they don't, you don't end up walking into the web or stuff, which you probably can guess why I would like spiders. That's kind of obvious if you know about a particular spider. As well as, and of course, bees, because they have to make the honey. They make the honey, and they just pretty much mind their own business. They pollinate our flowers. As well as, especially my personal favorite of my wife, butterflies, moths, cannon flies, they're pretty cool. Even little ladybugs, stuff like that, so yeah, it's definitely a lot to enjoy with insects, but you do have those pests that I'm just gonna say it. Now, like I say, I'm not gonna run and try to eliminate every one of them like some big eliminator. But if they come in the house, you guys are definitely going to die. The ants, like I mentioned, because it is not pretty having them crawl over your house. Roaches, definitely got to go. Now we haven't had that few there every so often, all of a sudden we see one pop up, but it's right recently we haven't had really any trouble with that, and hope it stays that way. But yeah, we see a roach, it's dead, it's gonna die. I'm sorry, and I know, and yeah, like I say again to my TikToker who love Sound of the Forest. I'm sorry, but like I say, if they're outside, they're cool. I ain't gonna bother them outside. I let they're free to go. But yeah, inside my house, I see one like that. I'm sorry, they're gonna have to die. So I'm just saying, circle of life. Which I think I think she's very understanding that, because she talks about how, the different insects that do eat other insects. She's fully aware of that, because she knows a lot about the different insects. Pretty much an insect encyclopedia there. So yeah, I think she's pretty cool with that. And aware that not everybody's gonna be the same as far as that. Yeah, so yeah, agree to disagree. But yeah, roaches gotta die when they invade the house. And so oh yeah, okay, so the ants coming in, roaches, wasps. That is the worst one. Wasps as well as mosquitoes. Or as I heard somebody say in Steve Harvey's comic, it is a mosquito. No, what's that big thing over there? It is a mosquito. So, yeah, wasps and mosquitoes. Yes, definitely no. Even near the house, yeah. Don't even come near the house. Some of the wasps and mosquitoes. Ants, at least I can take them as long as they stay outside. In like the flower bed and stuff like that, and they don't cause any hindrance out there. They cool. A road, okay, long as they outside, it's cool. But man, them wasps and mosquitoes now, they gotta be miles away from this house, thousands of miles away. Yeah, because ooh boy, yeah, we pull up in the driveway, about to go inside the house, a little mosquito flying right now. Got that we ain't taking no chances, because that West Nile virus ain't no joke. And the wasps, I had a very personal encounter with the wasps. They stung me back on my, which this might be adapted into a story too. They stung me way back. Oh my goodness! Don't do that. Yeah, I should have turned the sound down there. But yeah, they stung me way back then when I was at my great grandpa kid's house, and God rest his soul. But we was at his house, and I would just, I'm just playing around with his dog and everything, just running around the house with the dog, minding my own business. And first time one of them stung my mother, and the second time they got me. And the minute they got me, so yeah, they tend to just attack for no reason there. Yeah, and like I say again, and there's some people again too. Like I say, because I heard some people talking about, well, they're misunderstood. Because there is something that they actually are used. I always wondered what they were useful for, but somebody did state they control the pests that eat crops there by eating them. Well, okay, but yeah, but other than that, yeah, don't really, like I say, I guess if they're in the fields and stuff, it's okay. Maybe I guess it's a help there, but yeah, out here in the neighborhood, yeah, not really not very friendly out here in the neighborhood. Yeah, so yeah, now it's probably now give me a second, let me get back on track here. Kind of rambled a little bit, but there is something that what I just stated about those different pests will come in. Now So yeah, it would be so yeah, back with the invasion. Yeah, insect invasion. Uh, with the 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 alien ants would be in charge of this. There, I'm also thinking maybe. So yeah, it would basically be focused with the alien ants and a few other insects, but basically the alien ants would be the front of the attack because of what's been going on here. Excuse me. And maybe maybe in like at the end of the story, there would be a bit of hint of something to come later. One would be the alien insects thinking of some new kind of creations to attack the Earth with next, which would be the which would hint at a future story of something I made up called the Wasquito. The Wasquito, yes, a combination of a wasp and a mosquito. Yeah, yeah, the wasp. So yeah, be a hint to that coming. Also, as well as a hint to another ideal of mine, pest raiders. Yeah, like we got pest control and stuff like that. Well, imagine sort of a superhero version of that. Kind of similar. Just think like Ghostbusters, but dealing with insects instead of ghosts. Yeah. So, yeah, something like that. They deal with, like I say, the pest type insects, not just they don't go out all the insects like they shooting at butterflies and stuff like that. No, pretty much the ones that are major pests, like I say, the wasps, the mosquitoes, ants when they come in the house, as well as roaches. Yeah. And yeah, somewhat, yeah, flies possibly, yeah, because they don't really, I know flies don't really sting or anything, but they can be a nuisance when they're in the house. Outside they're fine, but in the house, not so good, yeah, but, so, yeah, pretty much like that, and so, yeah, there would be a hint of that coming. Let me go and turn this sound off. So, oh. Yeah, turn it right there. There we go. Yeah, I can still see if somebody calling me, like if it's important or something, if I have to stop for that. But yeah, at least I won't have that music you just heard playing, and all of a sudden YouTube go copywriting me over that. He's got the copyright music. Yeah, I don't need that on this channel. I've already gone through that with 2 other channels. I'm not going through that again. So. Yeah, there'll be a hint of that, and also a hint to another group of alien invaders, robotic crabs. So far, the name I've come up with is the Creon organization, which, like I say, robot crabs. Originally, they were gonna be called the Terracon organization, but there was one problem. And I honestly did not know this when I came up with it. When Rise of the Beast Transformers came out, yeah, they introduced the Terracons, which is part of Transformer lore. So I had no idea about that, but now that I know, yeah, that's why I had to change it to something else, so I won't get sued, So, yeah, so Creon organization. Yeah, machine crabs that pretty much want to dominate all of the organic life and just pretty much make the entire universe as well as the galaxy nothing but machine life. Yeah, like themselves. So yeah, there's that. So then of course, and then again, they might. I don't know. It might be hinted at the end of the story about the alien ants invasion. Like I say, I know something like with the other alien insects would be meant like with the wasps and mosquitoes. Yeah, be like the next thing, as well as the possible coming of the pest raiders. So the Z brothers, Hiko's cousins, would decide to kind of up their game as far as well, we end up having to take on other invasions like this. Yeah, we gotta have some we gotta upgrade ourselves. Yeah, so yeah, it's a possibility, but like I say, it's still in thought process on that about like a little hint at the upcoming Creon organization, the Robot Crab. So there will be, it's possible of that. Um, if it is, then probably another story that will come, which when I was growing up involved the Landagos, when they had to face these robot crabs. Like I said, there's in all the yeah, because like I said, it's something. The robot crabs actually seems more like something that should maybe come later in the Yumeko series, not something that would come, right at the beginning of the series. Yeah, because it's pretty big. Um, so maybe I won't even mention that yet. There, maybe kind of keep that, kind of just keep that in mind though for later use there, but not mention it yet. So, and as far as what I was about to say with the Landiegos, I'll let you guys know what I was about to say about that in another video where I actually talk about the history of Emily Landago. So yeah, if you're about to ask questions, well, what were you about to say? You'll find out. You'll find out in another video. Okay, you can wait. So of course, chances are that the fourth book, Hiko will start back to school and meet up with four of the kids who are actually adoptive brothers and sisters, and with Hiko, when they invite Hiko to hang out with them, and the five of them just would end up venturing into a dimension of dinosaurs, where they become what's known the Dino Magicians to defend this Dino dimension there. Yes, dinosaur magicians there with the power of the dinos. So that will be a story that will might possibly be book 4, the beginning of the rise of the Dino Magicians against an evil group of dragons. And like I said, with the insects, no, the dragons are not all evil. Yeah, it's not like, dragons evil, dinosaurs good. It's a group of the dragons that have went renegade. Because you do get some, because a lot of the dragons are pretty much at peace. They live, in harmony with the dinosaurs. But a group of them, it's like, we want to do our own thing. Sort of like, what was mentioned, back when Satan was Lucifer. Remember when Satan was Lucifer? How remember, he was up there as an angel, like the rest, whole thing of angels, and Lucifer decided, like, hey, why don't we be in charge of this place, and I'll be God. And him and the group of angels that sided with him got kicked out of heaven. Henceforth, the term fallen angels. So, yeah, that group of angels, along with Lucifer, who's now Satan, got kicked out, and so the rest of the angels are chilling in heaven. So, but yeah, pretty much like that with the dragons. Evil group of dragons trying to wreak havoc in the Dino dimension. Probably, I would just say probably a dimension in general with like ancient animals like dinosaurs and dragons and stuff like that. So yeah, it all depends on on what I think of with that. Still in thought process, but I'm just letting y'all know what could possibly come. And the other thing I can think of right offhand, probably more with Julie and Tim. There's another character that Casey has, Julie, Tim, Melina, no Mr. Fluffles, and there's another Julius, who sort of has a special connection with Julie. And also another you probably could guess what connection that is. Him and Julie sort of liking each other. I can say it with them. Yeah, they kind of like each other. So it'd be something involving that. And also, as far as Julius is concerned, which I have discussed with Casey, is pretty cool with this. Um, yeah, there's going to be a, a different kind of connection with him and Hiko. Yeah, like so. Yeah, with him and Hiko, with something from way back in the past. So there will be that something involving. There'll be that involvement, um, as well as also a character known as Sakura with a magical item called the Tiger Bow. Uh, One of the Destiny items. Matter of fact, Hiko would have a Destiny item, the Destiny Watch, which is also the same watch that would be used when he's fighting with the Dino Magicians there. So, whoo, that is a lot to unravel and connect together. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got so far as what will possibly be coming up. So yeah, at least I got this. If I if I get the time, I can at least I just bring up this video and jot down notes from this video of what ideals I want to bring next to the table to put in writing. Yeah, just bring up this video. Yep, but at the same time, working with the first book. So, yeah, like I say, we'll try to get it wrote down. I don't make no promises, but at least I got it recorded in this video just in case. Yeah, especially with other stuff that we're doing too. So, yeah. So, and also one other idea. Character's named Zayden Walker. That is in the the Yumeko comics. We since because of the fact that it's going back to 1995, we would actually Zayden Walker actually. I never did get to this in the comics, but there was going to be a flashback mention of him as a celebrity known as Lil Zay Zay, rapper, kid rapper. But at some point, things didn't go so well, and he got axed away from from his celebrity title, and pretty much as we would say on our normal jobs, pretty much fired. Yeah, so yeah, there would be that story, and about kind of what to do about Zayden, and also can't believe definitely got to mention this. We will. And it must happen. Star Striker, yeah, Star Striker is definitely going to be in this series as well. This should be the last thing to mention. Samuel, Samuel Lee Princeton, who is Star Striker, would actually be another friend of Hiko's that hangs out with him outside of school, of course. Not completely sure where and how, but yeah, before Samuel becomes Star Striker, there would be a story of him and Hiko having an adventure of pretty much having an air battle with a monster dog. This is actually based off of one of my neighbors from across the street back when I was in elementary. One of my neighbors across the street, her son that I grew up with, her son was around the same age as I was, maybe a year older or younger, not sure, but we were close to the same age. But we had got this idea because there was a really vicious dog in the circle of the neighborhood we live in. He was big too. This was a big dog because one time one time he chased a kid on his bike. The dog was coming after the kid and everything. The kid, he managed to get away from the dog, but there was a cost. He pedaled that bike so fast to get away from that dog and eventually lose the dog, that he no longer the brakes of his bike do not work properly because he because he pedaled that bike so hard to go as fast as he could, and yeah, the brake. So, and he's done this in front of me and my other friend that I'm about to mention. He's done this in front of us, and you would think he'd be hurt doing this, but in order to stop I don't know if he ever got his bike fixed, but when the few times we hung out with him, in order to stop his bike, he would just jump off of it. But yeah, he felt the impact of jumping off the bike, but then he'd get back up like, oof, man, that hurt. Let me get my bike back. There, yeah, he shrugged. He felt the pain and just shrugged it off there. So, yeah, he wasn't. Apparently he took it a lot better than I did when I fell off my bike in the circle there and ended up scraping both my knees. Like, ouch. Yeah. So what happened with this other friend of mine who used to stay across the street? We built a cardboard plane, and we would call ourselves gonna make the plane fly and battle this big dog. And matter of fact, we was like, well, how are we gonna make the plane run? And he was like, well, I just get the motor of my dad's truck. Oh dear Lord! So you're telling me we're gonna make a cardboard plane fly with a truck motor? Well. Now just picture that for a second: a truck motor in a cardboard plane, and it flies, or maybe it doesn't fly. We actually want to imagine driving the plane on the road with the truck motor down the main street. Gotta tell you, as now you talking about having a wild imagination, that is wild there, but I tell you, this is why we come up with the stories we come up with. So hey, at least it serves a purpose. At least that wild imagination is helpful in especially if you're growing up to be a story writer. Yeah, keep that imagination. It may be a little crazy, but hey, you can make something of it, just like I'm doing. So the story with with Yumeko in one of the Yumeko books, not sure what number it be, but Hiko and Samuel would make an actual plane to actually fly over and take care of a monster dog. So there would be that story, and at the end of it, Samuel would probably think, and I might connect that with another story. Another story I actually did back in middle school. Before I came up with Star Striker, I made a black and white home movie of myself as, I kept saying Caped Avenger sometime, and then sometime I said Masked Avenger, where I faced off against a alien ghost that was invading the fields. So yeah, so maybe I might connect it with that. Maybe maybe so it could might not be exactly another invasion. May possibly be a alien invasion, or maybe not. Maybe just some maybe just a bunch, maybe just not one, but maybe a bunch of monster dogs. But of course there would be, your major boss monster dog that's attacking, and maybe they, like I said, they build a plane to go over and face them, and at the end of it, and of course it would be attacking the city and stuff. So at the end of all that, they would, it's like, wow, we could be like maybe this, and also Hiko's previous adventures. It's like, it could be like with all the stuff that I've been through up to now. It's like be like the superheroes at this point, and Samuel gets the idea, or Samuel might come up with the idea because he's into everything superheroes. so he might come up with the idea of, becoming a superhero, and that's where the birth of Star Striker would come from. Yeah, so um, yeah, then of course there would be a later story about Star Striker's beginning and everything, as well as some other characters that are connected with Star Striker. Target, which is his best friend Brian, and of course, as I mentioned in a previous slideshow, Angela and her sister and her twin sister Monet. Angela, of course, was inspired by my friend Angela. And when Angela read my Star Striker comics and the character, especially the character, how the character Angela was in the series, keep in mind she was not into superhero stuff. She didn't. That wasn't really her MO. But reading because they were written by me, and looking at what I wrote, because we, like I say, we grew up in school together. Wanting curious about, like, well, let me see what Gabe's writing here. She was really impressed by the comic, and she actually read a few of my Heroes of Dream books, but she was more impressed with the comics, with how that came out there, because it actually, got 1 through 5. She never did get 6 because sadly she passed when issue 6 came out of Star Striker. And of course, that was a very shocking moment, because when I found out that Angela had passed away, I had just came home from church Sunday and was calling her, like, okay, well, I'm going to bring issue 6 over by your house, and went to her voicemail. Then that's when I found out, because she was also trained to be a school teacher. She was a student teacher, and one of the kids that knew her from their school mentioned to me, was following me on Instagram, and mentioned to me, didn't you hear about what happened to her? And when he told me and I read the article, I was like, I literally, this was on a Sunday, by the way, after church, I fell out of my chair in tears. Yeah, it was, man, I'm like, yeah, it just really had shocked me there. I'm like, why? And how she died was in a car crash. Yeah, she was on her way home from an event at night, and somebody crashed into her. Yeah, but like I say, still miss her down here, but at least I do know that the good Lord's taking care of her up there in heaven. So her spirit is definitely living on in these characters, Angela and Monet. And again, Angela was inspired by Angela, and when Angela saw that character, she came up with the character Monet Chanel Pierre. So Angela was inspired by Angela. Angela came up with Monet and was like, hey, why don't you add this character to your series there, Gabe? That's how that happened. So originally Monet was going to be Angela's best friend, but when I actually illustrated Monet, turns out her and Angela looked a lot alike, because I designed because of the way I designed them. So that's why in this series, I'm gonna make them twin sisters there. So yep. So with Star Striker and Target, that will be their introduction. Monet actually, and also from Angela, Monet is a secretly the superhero Diva Slave with magical hair powers. Yep. Where she can pretty much do a lot of stuff with her hair. Now, of course, Angela possibly, Angela, I do have planned to become, a superhero of some sort. I'm kind of thinking Sunrisha, probably, with sun powers and stuff like that. So, but you never know. There might be something else that might come to my mind when I get to that point. But but at the moment that's what I'm thinking, Sunrisha. Yeah, so yep, so yeah, there will be stuff involving Star Striker related characters, especially a Star Striker story that I wanted to do in my original Star Striker series but never got to. So I definitely got to do it here. A Strikerverse, yeah, multiverse of Star Strikers, and and to be honest, because the other previous versions of Star Striker that I've come up with, that is perfect for a multiversal crossover. Yeah, so at some point there would be a Strikerverse story. So yeah, it's there. So far that's what I got. Yep, as far as ideals that are coming for Yumeko. Now even now, like I say, it's not set in stone what order these stories will come in. It all depends on how things go after the first book is written. Like I said, I do know Mr. Fluffles with Julie and Tim, and the Julie becoming Sword Girl and all that. I know that's going to be the second book. Yeah, that I know for sure. I know for sure that'll be the second book because of Fluffles introduced in book one and sort of being a lead way to it, as well as possibly book three being the ant invasion in the West. So the first three books I know for a fact. A possible chance of the Dino Magicians being the fourth book. But as for it's possible, it could possibly change. But I'm really hoping that the Dino Magicians at least make book number 4. Now after that, it is unclear what stories will go where. I know what stories I want to put in there, but it's unclear what will go where after. Like I say, after the first 3 books and possibly 4. Like I say, if I can, depending on how I work the storyline, and I'm able to get it, how I want it with the Dino Magicians. So, but now what I got planned for that. And just like I talked about the history of Brownie in the last video, there will be a history of the other plush toys. There's still. I still gonna be doing more of that, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But I had to share this first to get it kind of out there for record, and that way you guys, and now you guys know. So he's like, "Hey, Gabe, you said this," so it definitely will be acknowledged. Yep, and if like what you heard and everything, like the video and everything, definitely give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Also, definitely support the channel through buying our available comic books, becoming a Patreon pledger. Definitely would appreciate that, as well as also being a sponsor to the channel. Have a sponsored video. $5 for minimum of $5 for personal shout outs, and for maybe wanting an ad for your business or something. Minimum of $20, and as I stated in I think it's in the description of my YouTube channel, what we're about. Make sure, we have to make sure it is family friendly, as far as the business you want to advertise, stuff like that. Make sure it's family friendly, stuff like that. So, so with all that said, definitely do all that. And we will see y'all in the next video. Take care, everybody.